Imagine this. Millions of people around the world right now are screaming at their screens, painting their faces, wearing team jerseys like armor, feeling actual heartbreak or euphoria based on whether grown adults they've never met put a ball in a net. Yet you feel nothing. No rush of adrenaline when your city team wins. No depression when they lose. No urge to check scores at 3 a.m. No group chats blowing up about trades or injuries. If that's you, this video is for you. Hit that subscribe button right now if you've ever been called antisocial, boring, or not a real man/woman just because sports don't move you. Smash the like button if you've sat through family gatherings pretending to care while your mind wandered to books, music, ideas, or literally anything else. And drop a comment below. What's one thing people assume about you because you don't obsess over sports? Let's see how many of us are out there. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your brain works this way, why it's not a flaw, and why in many ways it's actually an advantage in today's world. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Why does everyone else seem so obsessed? It starts with something ancient, wired deep in our psychology: tribalism. For most of human history, belonging to a strong tribe literally meant survival. Your group protected you from predators, shared food, fought enemies together. Being cast out usually meant death. Fast forward to today. We don't have lions chasing us, but that same brain circuitry is still there screaming for belonging, identity, vicarious victory. Sports became the perfect modern substitute. You pick a team, often your local one, your family's one, and suddenly we won. We are strong. We beat them. When your team wins, your brain releases dopamine as if you personally achieved something. Studies show fans' testosterone rises after a win, falls after a loss. The same hormonal response as if they played. It's called BIRG, basking in reflected glory. But here's the key point most people miss. Not everyone's tribal instincts fire the same way. Some brains are less responsive to group-based identity signals. Some people get their sense of belonging from smaller, deeper connections, close friends, family, creative communities, intellectual circles, online niche groups. Others simply have a stronger internal locus of identity. Their self-worth isn't tied to external group performance. They don't need the reflected glory because their glory comes from within. That's trait number one of people who don't obsess over sports. Strong sense of individuality. They've usually had personal passions since childhood: reading, art, music, coding, writing, philosophy, science. Things that reward solo effort and personal mastery. Sports fandom often requires surrendering part of your identity to a collective outcome you can't control. For highly individualistic people, that feels unnatural, even suffocating. They prefer pursuits where success or failure is 100% on them, or at least much more directly tied to their actions. This ties directly into personality research. In the big 5 traits, people lower in extroversion, introverts or ambiverts leaning inward, tend to show less interest in spectator sports. Extroversion drives people towards social stimulation, group energy, shared excitement. Introverts recharge alone. Big crowds, chanting, stadium energy, that drains them. They might enjoy playing sports recreationally for exercise or skill building, but watching others do it, often boring. Research also shows non-fans or low engagement fans score higher on openness to experience. They're drawn to novelty, ideas, aesthetics, complexity. Watching the same rules play out repeatedly, even with different teams, can feel repetitive compared to diving into a new book, learning an instrument, exploring a philosophical debate, or creating something original. Another trait, lower trait competitiveness in the vicarious sense. They might be ambitious in their own field, but they don't get the same thrill from watching competition they aren't part of. Their dopamine doesn't spike from proxy victory. Some research even hints at differences in dopamine receptor sensitivity. People wired for high internal reward from personal achievement or intellectual curiosity simply don't get the same hit from spectator sports. Now let's talk about polarization. People who don't obsess over sports often resist us versus them thinking in general. A 2022 study found lower sports interest correlates with less tendency toward polarization across domains: politics, arguments, social issues. Sports train the brain in binary loyalty: my team good, your team bad. Non-obsessed people usually dislike that simplification. They see nuance. They dislike blind loyalty. They question groupthink. They might even feel uncomfortable when friends or family get aggressively tribal about a game. The trash talk, the insults, the real anger over something ultimately trivial. That discomfort isn't snobbery. It's often higher emotional regulation and aversion to unnecessary conflict. Another big one, they love their own company. They don't need constant external validation or group excitement to feel alive. Solitude isn't loneliness for them. It's productive, restorative, even joyful. They might spend a Sunday afternoon reading, walking in nature, journaling, learning a skill, or just thinking deeply. While others are glued to games, they're recharging in ways that build long-term fulfillment. This connects to lower need for social identity fusion. In social identity theory, fans fuse part of their self with the team. When the team wins, I win. When it loses, I lose. People less prone to identity fusion don't experience that emotional roller coaster. Their self stays separate, stable. That's actually protective against mood swings tied to external events. Think about it. How many sports fans have their entire weekend ruined by a loss? Non-obsessed people rarely let something they can't control dictate their emotional state. Now, upbringing plays a huge role too. If you grew up in a house where sports weren't central, maybe parents were immigrants focused on education and career, or artists or intellectuals, or just not athletic, that modeling sticks. No one passed down the ritual of watching games together, wearing jerseys, memorizing stats. Without that early conditioning, the tribal pull never fully activates. Some people actively reject it. They see the commercialization, the gambling ads everywhere now, the violence in some sports cultures, the wasted time, the money funneled into billionaires while schools struggle. They question why society glorifies physical competition so much while undervaluing intellectual or creative pursuits. They might feel sports distract from real issues: politics, climate, inequality. Not always, but often there's a subtle skepticism toward mass entertainment that feels manipulative. Another type, the active participant who doesn't spectate. They love playing tennis, soccer, running, climbing, martial arts. But watching pros? Not the same thrill. For them, sports are about personal challenge, body awareness, skill progression, not passive observation. Watching feels like eating someone else's meal. Then there's the fairness-oriented skeptic. They notice how sports often reward genetics, money, corruption in some leagues, performance-enhancing controversies. The purity of competition feels compromised. They lose interest when it seems less about merit and more about systems. Or the struggling realist, people dealing with real survival stress, job loss, health issues, family problems. When life is hard, abstracting emotional energy into millionaires playing games feels disconnected. Their dopamine is needed elsewhere, solving actual problems. Finally, the deep thinker type. Their mind craves meaning, patterns, systems, big questions. Sports have narratives, but they're shallow compared to literature, history, science, psychology. They'd rather analyze human behavior in a documentary than watch another touchdown celebration. Now, before anyone says, but community, yes, sports provide instant belonging. But non-obsessed people find community elsewhere in book clubs, maker spaces, volunteer groups, online forums for niche interests, professional networks, close friendships built on shared values rather than shared geography or team. Their communities are often smaller, deeper, less volatile. No one riots when your favorite author releases a bad book. No one shuns you if your preferred band changes style. That's stability. So if you're still watching and thinking, this is me, you're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not missing passion. You just channel it differently. Your brain seeks reward from internal mastery, personal growth, nuance, independence, creativity. In a world obsessed with external validation and group performance, that might actually be a superpower. You protect your attention. You avoid emotional whiplash. You resist unnecessary polarization. You build identity that's harder to shake. You stay curious about bigger things. Of course, none of this means sports fans are wrong or inferior. They get joy, connection, ritual, excitement, real psychological benefits. Fandom can lower loneliness, boost self-esteem through shared wins. It's just different wiring, different priorities, different dopamine pathways, and both can be healthy. The problem only comes when one side judges the other. When sports people call non-fans boring or detached. When non-fans call fans mindless or tribal. Both miss the point. Human minds are diverse. Some thrive on collective highs. Some thrive on solitary depths. Neither is superior. They're adaptations. So next time, someone asks why you don't care about the big game. You can smile and say, my brain just gets its wins somewhere else. And mean it. If this video resonated, hit subscribe for more dives into human behavior, personality differences, and why we are the way we are. Like if your team's sports, meh. Comment your biggest aha moment from today. And share this with that one friend who always tries to drag you to watch games. Maybe they'll finally understand. Thanks for watching. This is all educational, not therapy or diagnosis. Take care of your mind. See you in the next one.